life, your mind is either focusing on what you want or what you don't want. Okay? It really is as simple as that. And when you're focusing on what you want, you are opening the doors to happiness, to feeling good, to opportunities, to new possibilities. When you're focusing on what you don't want, okay, what you don't want to manifest or attract or create, what you don't like, then everything in life gets hard. And it's supposed to be that way. Your body's supposed to feel contracted, tight, tense, burdened, just pain is supposed to happen. Because it's the same thing like you put your hand on a hot stove, you're supposed to burn it. You're supposed to pull away from it. Okay, same thing. When you focus on what you don't want in life, it's supposed to be painful. And so if you are experiencing any form of unhappiness on any level, maybe just a subtle sensation, okay, of that, maybe I'm just kind of having a boring day or gloomy, or maybe just average, you'll see that you're focusing on what you don't want. Or maybe you're just not focusing on what you want. It's that simple. It's like an on and off switch. Okay? It's you're either on or you're off. And the mind is really quick to go from one to the other. And you can get really caught in what you don't want. Your mind can get really filtered and just hiding behind these little cobwebs of just feeling just awful, and I don't want to leave the house, and I just want to stay home and be sad and just feel sad. It feels so good to be sad. Okay? Well, you know what? If you are focusing on the joy of feeling sad, like how good it feels to feel sad, and that's what you want, then you're going to move through that sadness and find a bigger joy, like a more expanded sense of self. So that is what you want. So what you want can be very interesting. It can change. It can seem like something that you really don't want, but you're doing it for another reason, maybe. Who knows? I mean, we're very complicated creatures. And when we do something, it's just about looking at, are you wanting it? Is this what you really want to do? Are you going to the job because you should and you have to pay your bills and you need to do it for such and such reasons, for your family, for your mortgage, for whatever? Or are you doing it because you really enjoy doing it? You want to do it for them or for you or for the world or for people that you're serving. So it's about where you're coming from that makes all the difference in the world. It is everything. Where are you coming from? Are you coming from a place of what you desire? Or are you coming from a place of maybe what you're afraid of? That you're not really in touch with what you desire? Okay? So a lot of spiritual teachers out there, and people on the spiritual path, they've been caught in this thing of getting rid of desire. And there is a time for that, absolutely, on the journey. And the most important thing is to find out what you actually really do desire so that you can detach from it and let it go and go into a place of desirelessness. Okay? If you're really, truly devoted to spiritual freedom, to being completely free from all desire, then yeah, get in touch with what you want so that you can let it go. Okay? But when it comes to the ego and the mind and being happy or unhappy, it's just as simple as focusing on what you want. Okay? So we have this world of happiness and unhappiness of the ego. Okay? Up and down roller coaster. And then we have this other world where it's all about this spiritual freedom, where it's all about the ego's been transcended. And you're living in a place of total desirelessness, where it doesn't really matter what you want or don't want, that you're completely connected to Source, and you're feeling so blissed out that it's just like, one little drop in the bucket of happiness. It's like, doesn't really make that much difference, because you're such in a state of deep-rooted Source connection. Okay? So, to get to this place of this spiritually enlightened place, you get to go through this little roller coaster ride of going up and down in chasing desires, finding happiness, finding unhappiness, getting caught in what makes you smile, what makes you frown, and then learning how to transcend that whole thing, how to actually detach from the whole game itself of running after the next big cheese, trying to accomplish something in life that's going to make you happy, supposedly, forever. Okay? So, it's a very tricky path, to walk this line of how to move from this world of being lost in ego to this world of finding yourself in your spiritual nature. Okay? And they weave sometimes. 1 hour you may be feeling this very grounded spiritual self, and then the next moment back into the ego, forming its attachment to old desires that never got manifested. And so sometimes we have to weave these two worlds and then find out what's between these two worlds. And that's a whole nother dimension to reality. Okay? So the point here is to really honor what you want. That inside of you is a knowingness, and it's divine, it's beautiful, it's sacred, and what you want is something that gives you direction, it gives you purpose, it helps you get out of bed in the morning and have a reason for being alive. It gives you something to give back to the world. Okay, so really find out what makes you smile. What is it that you really want to experience in life? Not just kind of, maybe I want to experience this and I should and everybody else is, so it sounds fun or cool or whatever. No, it's like, what makes your heart sing the loudest? Who knows? Maybe it's just watching a sunset. Maybe it's just painting a picture, or maybe just lying in bed and relaxing. Could be anything. Could be making love to the most beautiful woman in the world, or the most beautiful man in the world, whatever your preference is. So it's looking at what makes your heart sing in this moment, and saying yes to that, saying this is part of my destiny. It's not necessarily going to fulfill me forever, like a piece of chocolate cake. Temporary fulfillment, temporary satisfaction. Okay? But it gives you direction. It gives you purpose. It gives you a sense of action in the world, which allows you to be, a moving human being where you're not just like a blob, right? If you have no desires, there's no reason to even move. Eat, you have no desire for food. Zero desire. So there's life in desire. There's a formation of this creativity that comes out of desire. So desire, it has its good and bad sides, of course. And so find out what it is that you really, really want, and that you can play with. You can get to know who you are at this moment in your life, because your desires are going to change. You didn't have the same desires when you were 5 years old, right? So they grow as you grow and evolve. And the more you can get in touch with them, the more that it's just easier to fulfill them, And it's not that you have to be happy. That's the good news, is that you can find deep, deep, unlimited sources of happiness, well-being, deep satisfaction when you go into your spiritual nature, when you drop into the place of desirelessness, where you know that no desire is going to really bring you true happiness. And so you get to play. You get to play with these two worlds of allowing yourself to be free, to fulfill your desires, and allowing yourself to be free to be without any desire. And then find out what's it like to weave these two worlds. That's the true master who can play in both realms. Okay? It's not attached to happiness forming or not showing up in either realm. It doesn't matter. That you know that you're free beyond anything. That it doesn't matter if you find your spiritual source or not, or if your dream house or car manifests or not. You know, it's like you know that who you are is something that's beyond all of this. All of these ideas. All these formations of mind. Okay? So get curious about that. This is another level, diving deeper into who you are beyond the desire, beyond the mind. Okay? So, yeah. Take care. Your homework this week, make a list. As long as you can. Everything you want. Everything that you want. Until you're exhausted of desire, until you've just wrote down everything that you want. And then see if you can actually add even more. Like, do it for several days. Until you just get every desire you could possibly imagine written down. So that it's out in the visible world. So you can see it and read through it and go, wow. This is inside me. This is what makes my heart sing. And then go through and prioritize. Find out what's the top 10. Okay? Find out your top 10 desires and then go do them. Make that your agenda for the next 90 days of your life. That'll be fun. Take care. Enjoy.